Hello everyone, I'm Matthew. This is day one of going from zero coding knowledge to building a 2K web agency by December 2026 this year. Today I went through the Odin Project lessons on how the internet works, and I'm going to take you through the notes I took. As you can see on my screen, this is the Odin, inside the Odin project. You see how does the web work? And below it, there is knowledge check. This is what we shall be going through, how I understood this. So I'll start by what is a web server, but before I go there, I will tell us about the internet itself. So what you should know about the internet, wow, it's the second question. But the internet is just a connection of computers and networks. And the other thing, it's not the cloud, it's not the air we see, that delusion, it's on the internet. I got to learn that today. So I got to know that the internet is actually fibers, like real fibers that run from a data center through the ground, through the oceans, then they interconnect. That's how we get the understanding of the internet. Let's open my notes. Yeah. So the internet, I summarized it as the internet being equaling to, the way I understood it, infrastructure, data transfer, and roles and navigation. But of course, for the infrastructure, we shall begin with the backbone. Of course, it's the backbone where we get web servers, networks, the internet itself. So, a web server, what's a web server? I would say a web server is a computer that is directly connected to the internet. So what does the web server do? The web server responds to requests made by the clients. This can be a web application, an HTML document, a JavaScript, an email. And now we go to the network. What's a network? A network is just a connection between two computers. And to make it simpler, we can take an example of me at this moment connecting my laptop with my hotspot using an internet service provider, that is MTN. Something similar to that. The internet, we've seen that. Then an IP address. We see that every gadget connected to the internet has an IP address. What's the role of an IP address? An IP address just identifies something. Let me take an example of my name. I'm Matthew Rothomio, and this identifies me. I don't know of anyone called Matthew Rothomio yet at this moment. So an IP address, to simplify it, we get domain names. And domain names can be google.com. It's just a domain name, not to cram the numbers that the IP address gives us. So we go to routers. What's a router? A router is simply a connection between two computers. What it does, it eases information. For example, take an example of an agency that has a local network. It's made of very many computers, but what the routers does, it takes the right information to the right client or to the right destination. It seems that I didn't understand that well, but I'll go to that later. Let's first finish what we've done. So an internet service provider. An internet service provider is just a company that we use to access the internet. These have fiber cables and stuff, those things that go through the ground. Yeah. The next part, we'll talk about how data moves. Now, data packages. Now, when I search a video on YouTube, what it does, my browser looks for the DNS. Sorry. It looks for the DNS. That's the exact IP address of that. After that, alongside the internet service provider, we go to the server. The server locates that exact IP address. After locating it, that very content is split into data packets to ease its movement to your destination. And these data packets, every packet finds its way to your gadget as the client. That's a simple meaning. Then the client's just a computer that requests something on the internet or on the web. For example, I'm using my laptop and it's a client. I use my phone normally and that's a client. Oh, servers are just computers that store what we look for on the web. So a web page is just a document written in HTML. Yeah, that's how I've understood it. And then the web browser is just a collection of web pages connected together. Something close to that, no more. I will not expound on that, but search engines, it's also just an application which can be a website that we use to find what we want on the internet. The DNS is just the domain name system, and this was set to ease our life on the web, on the internet, where I can just type google.com instead of looking for that IP address that denotes Google. So that's the ideal thing. So the DNS just stores the IP addresses and it eases our, yeah, let me end it at that before I get confused. You know, this is my first day. So, so at the Odin project, there is this last question. Let me show you guys. It is, in your own words, describe the process that takes place when you initiate a search on google.com in terms of what we discussed. That's earlier, but I made a summary of that here and I explained it earlier. So thank you guys. You can subscribe and follow my journey. And tomorrow we shall be going through, as you can see, expand this. So tomorrow I shall be going to installations and we are strictly following the Odin project. Thank you. We meet tomorrow.